moment Japan lay in ashes after the Second World War. The sky hung heavy with smoke, and the earth lay shattered. Yet from that desolation emerged a quiet resolve that stirred like an ember, guiding the nation toward a remarkable journey of endurance, renewal, and rebirth for tomorrow. Their spirit, like a hidden fire glowing beneath layers of ash, lifted not only individuals but the very soul of the nation, forging a quiet strength that carried them forward, even as hardship pressed from every direction, urging them to rise with unwavering determination shaped by memory, resilience, and hope. From that spirit, Japan's landscapes, cities, and rhythms of life slowly awakened, as if every stone and every breath whispered a tale of rising from darkness, turning sorrow into beauty, transforming trial into a pathway toward a future shaped not by ruin, but by courage, clarity, and enduring vision ahead. And from that awakening breath, Japan unfolded a new chapter, where the past no longer served as a chain, but as a guiding torch, carrying their story seamlessly into the journey we are about to follow. And welcome to another episode of Unveiling Nations. Japan, the curse of geography, shapes the people's will. Japan is best understood as a multi-layered painting, where every brushstroke adds depth and complexity. At first glance, the nation appears simple, an island country with bustling cities and serene landscapes. But beneath that surface lies a constant interplay of contrasts. Old wooden temples sit quietly in the shadow of steel skyscrapers. Villages nestled in forests stand only a train ride away from some of the most advanced laboratories on Earth. This layering gives Japan its unique identity, a place that feels timeless and futuristic at the same moment. It is not a story told in one voice, but a chorus where past, present, and future speak together. Tradition is the backbone of Japanese culture, yet it lives side by side with modern invention. The old and the new do not cancel each other out. Instead, they enrich the national spirit. You can watch a master practicing calligraphy in the morning, then witness the latest in robotic technology in the afternoon. Festivals rooted in centuries-old beliefs fill streets illuminated with LED lights and digital screens. This paradox is what makes Japan fascinating. It is never only ancient or only modern. It is both, existing in balance, constantly negotiating between two worlds. In this way, Japan shows us how continuity and innovation can walk hand in hand. Nature holds a sacred place in Japan, shaping how its people see the world. Towering mountains, cherry blossoms, and tranquil gardens remind everyone of the fleeting beauty of life. Yet Japan is equally defined by technology, a force that transforms daily living and drives the nation's progress. Bullet trains cut through valleys at breathtaking speed. Robotics, artificial intelligence, and advanced design dominate industries and homes. These two sides, nature's calm permanence and technology's rapid evolution, are not enemies. Instead, they form a dialogue where one teaches humility and the other ambition. Japan thrives because it embraces both forces, crafting a life that feels rooted in the earth, yet reaching for the stars. Tokyo's Shibuya crossing, with thousands moving in every direction, pulses with energy. Neon signs, crowded markets, and festivals full of music showcase a nation alive with motion. This contrast silence and vibrancy defines daily life. A person can meditate in complete calm in the morning, then step into a festival alive with color and sound by night. Japan teaches us that peace and energy are not contradictions, but complementary states that give life its rhythm. All of these layers come together to form Japan's identity. It is not a single note, but a symphony of contrasts woven into one national fabric. This complexity is what makes Japan so captivating to the world. Every journey through its cities and landscapes reveals a new layer, another piece of the puzzle. For audiences, this story is not just about Japan, but about how a nation can embrace opposites without losing its essence. It is the perfect opening to dive deeper into each element, exploring how Japan balances past and future with such elegance. From ages long past, when the Jomon peoples left behind earthenware marked with rope-like patterns that felt like echoes of ancient breaths, Japan began to shape its distinct soul, a land where volcanic peaks, ancient cedar forests, and deep seas converged to form the foundation of a civilization built on endurance and quiet strength. Then, dynasties such as Heian and Edo carried the story forward, ushering in golden seasons of culture where poetry, swordsmanship, and wooden architecture intertwined, shaping a Japan both delicate and disciplined, as though time itself flowed to the silent rhythm of 3,000 years of unbroken tradition. As the early 20th century unfolded, Japan stretched itself toward the world, joining the First World War alongside the Allies, a signal that this island nation no longer intended to remain on the sidelines, but sought to claim its place within the turbulent current of global transformation. Then came the 30s, like a cold wind, as Japan advanced into Manchuria and full conflict with China ignited, pulling the nation into the trajectory that would lead to the Second World War, where flames consumed not only cities, but tested the very soul of an entire people to its harshest limits. On the 7th of December in 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor broke across the world like a tearing roar, inaugurating a tragedy of war that would end with 2 atomic blasts. A collapse both agonizing and awakening, forcing Japan to confront the deepest darkness of its own history. Yet from that darkness, Japan rose with discipline and a will to be reborn, turning ashes into light and sorrow into momentum, until it emerged as a modern power of technology, culture, and human resilience, proof that even amid ruin, a nation can forge its own quiet miracle. After World War II, Japan adopted a pacifist constitution that forbids offensive military action. Instead, the Japan Self-Defense Forces, JSDF, were created in 1954, today numbering about 240,000 active personnel. Despite the legal limits, the JSDF is among the most technologically advanced forces in Asia, focusing on defense, disaster relief, and peacekeeping missions. It reflects Japan's unusual balance of military restraint and modern capability. Japan's Navy, the Maritime Self-Defense Force, is one of the strongest in the region. It operates more than 150 ships, including 8 Aegis-equipped destroyers capable of missile defense. The centerpiece is the Izumo-class helicopter carriers, each over 24,000 tons, now being refitted to launch F-35B stealth fighters. This gives Japan a true quasi-aircraft carrier capability, extending its reach far beyond coastal defense. Japan's security is anchored in its alliance with the United States. Under the 1,960 U.S.-Japan Security Treaty, about 54,000 American troops are stationed in Japan, most in Okinawa. This arrangement provides Washington with forward bases while ensuring Tokyo benefits from the U.S. nuclear umbrella. It is the cornerstone of Japan's defense posture in the Indo-Pacific. Missile defense has become a national priority in the face of North Korean launches. Japan fields Patriot Pack 3 interceptors on land, and Aegis destroyers at sea, forming a 2-layer shield. Its radar network, including the Advanced J FPS-5 phased array radar, can track ballistic missiles thousands of kilometers away. This system allows Tokyo to respond rapidly to emerging threats across East Asia. In 2022, Japan announced its largest defense buildup since World War II. The government pledged to raise defense spending to 2% of GDP by 2025, roughly $320 billion over 5 years. The budget prioritizes missile defense, cybersecurity, and the reinforcement of bases in the Nansei Islands near Taiwan. It marks a decisive shift from Japan's post-war minimalism toward a more proactive defense role. Japan is increasingly investing in its own defense industry to reduce reliance on imports. Companies like Mitsubishi Heavy Industries produce submarines, fighter jets, and missile systems for the JSDF. Japan also collaborates internationally, co-developing the next-generation FX fighter jet with the UK and Italy, planned to enter service by the mid-2030s. This effort signals Japan's determination to become not just a consumer, but a developer of advanced defense technology. Beyond self-defense, Japan contributes actively to international security. In 2015, new security laws allowed Japan to exercise collective self-defense, enabling JSDF to assist allies under attack. This global engagement positions Japan as a responsible power, balancing constitutional pacifism with real-world security challenges. Japan operates under a constitutional monarchy established after World War II. The 1947 Constitution, often called the post-war Constitution, defines sovereignty as resting with the people, limiting the emperor's powers to symbolic roles. It guarantees democratic governance, separation of powers, and protection of civil liberties. This framework has provided political stability for over 7 decades, making Japan one of the most enduring democracies in Asia. The Emperor of Japan, currently Naruhito, serves as the nation's spiritual and cultural symbol without political authority. Executive power rests with the Prime Minister, who is chosen by the National Diet. As of 2023, the Prime Minister is Fumio Kishida, leading the government in policy-making, diplomacy, and defense. This dual structure balances tradition with democratic leadership. Japan's legislature, the National Diet, consists of 2 houses, the House of Representatives and the House of Councilors. The lower house has 465 members elected for 4-year terms, while the upper house has 248 members serving 6-year terms. The Diet passes laws, approves budgets, and chooses the Prime Minister. It is the core of Japan's parliamentary democracy, ensuring accountability of the executive branch. Japan has a multi-party system, though power is concentrated among a few major parties. The most influential is the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, while opposition includes the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, CDP, and others. Coalitions are common in Japanese politics, with smaller parties like Komeito often playing kingmaker roles. This dynamic gives Japan both continuity and occasional competition in its democratic process. Since its founding in 1955, the Liberal Democratic Party has governed Japan almost continuously. The LDP has produced nearly every prime minister in modern history, except for brief interruptions in the 1990 seconds and 2009-2012. Its dominance comes from strong rural support, effective party organization, and alignment with Japan's economic development goals. Today, the LDP remains the backbone of Japanese politics, shaping both domestic and foreign policy. Japan is a key member of the G7, the G20, and the United Nations, where it is one of the largest financial contributors. In 2023, Japan's GDP was around $4.2 trillion, making it the world's third largest economy. It regularly uses its economic weight to promote global stability, development aid, and climate initiatives. Through these platforms, Japan maintains significant influence in global governance. Takaichi Sanae, Japan's first female prime minister, is known for her conservative ideology and firm stance on national security, especially regarding China. She advocates increased defense spending and deeper alignment with key security allies, sparking significant debate within Japan's political landscape as the country navigates its evolving security posture. Her assertive foreign policy choices and direct rhetoric have generated new regional frictions, dividing Japanese public opinion between support and concern. Many see her as a decisive figure strengthening Japan's confidence, while others warn that her uncompromising approach may escalate tensions and risk the nation's long-term stability. Regionally, Japan plays a critical role in maintaining balance in East Asia. It strengthens ties with ASEAN, India, and Australia, while managing complex relations with China and South Korea. Japan is also active in the Quad Alliance with the US, India, and Australia, promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific. These efforts show Japan's ambition to be not just an economic giant, but also a strategic leader in Asia. Japan is a world leader in robotics, both industrial and humanoid. Honda's Asimo robot, first unveiled in 2000, became a global icon for humanoid robotics, capable of walking, running, and even recognizing human gestures. Industrial robots from Japanese firms like Fanuc and Yaskawa dominate factories worldwide, with Japan producing nearly 50% of global industrial robots in 2022. This technological edge makes Japan central to automation and next-generation robotics. Beyond humanoids, Japan pioneers service and industrial robotics for healthcare, logistics, and elder care. Robots like Paro, a therapeutic seal robot, are used in hospitals and nursing homes, while Toyota develops assistive exoskeletons. In manufacturing, Japanese robots account for over 1/3 of the global stock, ensuring efficiency in automotive and electronics industries. This reflects Japan's response to aging demographics by blending robotics with social needs. Japan is rapidly advancing in AI and biotechnology. The government's Society 5 initiative integrates AI into healthcare, disaster response, and smart cities. In biotech, Japan leads in regenerative medicine, especially stem cell research, with Nobel laureate Shinya Yamanaka pioneering induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs. Renewable energy is also rising, with Japan targeting 36–38% of power from renewables by 2030. Including solar and offshore wind. After the 2011 Fukushima disaster, Japan shifted toward sustainable energy. By 2022, renewables accounted for about 21% of electricity generation, with solar power making up more than half of that share. Major projects include offshore wind farms in Akita and Fukushima, aiming to reduce reliance on imported fossil fuels. This transition highlights Japan's effort to balance high-tech innovation with environmental responsibility. Japan revolutionized transport with the Shinkansen, launched in 1964. The bullet trains now run at speeds up to 320 kilometers per hour, carrying over 400,000 passengers daily with an average delay of less than 1 minute. Japan is also developing the maglev magnetic levitation train, which reached 603 kilometers per hour in a 2015 test, the fastest train in the world. Japan's space agency, JAXA, is a major player in global exploration. It partners with NASA and the ISS, contributing the Kibo laboratory module to the space station. JAXA also led successful missions like Hayabusa 2, which returned asteroid samples to Earth in 2020, a world-first achievement. Future projects include the Lunar Gateway and cooperation in Artemis missions, showing Japan's deepening role in space science. Japan has a remarkable record in science, Nobel Prizes, especially in physics and chemistry. As of 2023, Japanese scientists have won 29 Nobel Prizes, including breakthroughs in blue LEDs, particle physics, and molecular chemistry. Notable winners include Isamu Akasaki and Hiroshi Amano for blue light-emitting diodes, and Takaaki Kajita for neutrino oscillations. These achievements demonstrate Japan's long-term investment in basic science and global research leadership. Japan is the world's third largest economy, with a nominal GDP of around $4.2 trillion in 2023, just behind the United States and China. Despite a shrinking population and slow growth rates, Japan maintains its status through strong industrial capacity, advanced technology, and global trade. Its per capita GDP stands at about $34,000, placing it among the high-income nations of the OECD. This combination of scale and wealth makes Japan a cornerstone of the global economy. Toyota is Japan's largest corporation and the world's top car maker, producing more than 10 million vehicles annually. In 2022, Toyota's revenue exceeded $275 billion, ranking among the world's biggest companies. The brand is renowned for innovation in hybrid technology, with the Toyota Prius pioneering eco-friendly cars since 1997. Toyota remains a leader in the transition to electric and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. Sony is a global powerhouse in electronics, gaming, and entertainment. The PlayStation 5 has sold over 40 million units since its release in 2020, reinforcing Sony's dominance in the gaming industry. In 2022, Sony reported revenues of $85 billion, driven by semiconductors, imaging sensors, and music, film businesses. This diversification makes Sony one of Japan's most recognized global brands. Mitsubishi is not a single company, but a group of firms spanning finance, heavy industry, energy, and automotive. The conglomerate structure, known as Keiretsu, is a hallmark of Japan's post-war economy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries builds ships, aircraft, and even space launch vehicles, while Mitsubishi UFJ is Japan's largest bank. This diversification illustrates the enduring influence of Japan's mega corporations. SoftBank is Japan's tech investment giant, best known for its Vision Fund, worth $100 billion at its launch in 2017. The company has stakes in global startups, including Arm, Alibaba, and ride-hailing firms. Although some investments have been volatile, SoftBank remains a symbol of Japan's ambition to lead in AI, telecom, and digital infrastructure. In 2022, SoftBank's revenue was about $54 billion, showing its massive footprint. Japan is the fourth largest exporter in the world, with exports worth around $746 billion in 2022. Key exports include automobiles, electronics, robotics, and video games. Major markets are the United States, China, and Southeast Asia, reflecting Japan's deep integration in global supply chains. Exports remain the lifeline of Japan's economy, sustaining industries despite domestic demographic decline. Japan faces a critical issue: public debt exceeding 250% of GDP, the highest among advanced economies. This debt is largely domestically held, with the Bank of Japan and pension funds as main creditors, reducing immediate default risk. However, rising social security costs due to an aging population put pressure on fiscal sustainability. Managing debt while funding growth and defense remains Japan's biggest economic challenge in the coming decades. Japan consists of an archipelago stretching about 3,000 kilometers from north to south in the Pacific Ocean. The country includes 4 main islands: Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku, along with more than 6,800 smaller islands. Honshu alone hosts over 100 million people, making it the most densely populated and developed. This island geography shapes Japan's culture, economy, and vulnerability to natural disasters. Around 70% of Japan's land area is covered by mountains, leaving limited space for agriculture and urban expansion. The Japanese Alps divide Honshu, with peaks rising above 3,000 meters, while Mount Fuji at 3,776 meters is the tallest and most iconic. This rugged landscape concentrates populations in coastal plains like Kanto and Kansai. It also fosters unique traditions of mountain worship and nature-centered spirituality. Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, hosting about 111 active volcanoes, roughly 10% of the world's total. Famous ones include Mount Fuji, Mount Aso, and Sakurajima, which frequently erupt. Volcanic soils are fertile, supporting agriculture, but eruptions also threaten local communities. Hot springs, or onsen, scattered across the islands, are another gift of volcanic geology, deeply embedded in Japanese lifestyle. Japan experiences about 1,500 earthquakes every year. Major quakes like the 2011 Tonsohoku earthquake, magnitude 9, triggered a devastating tsunami, killing nearly 20,000 people and causing the Fukushima nuclear disaster. To adapt, Japan developed world-leading seismic engineering, strict building codes, and advanced early warning systems. Earthquakes remain a defining element of Japan's geography and resilience. Stretching across latitudes, Japan has varied climates. Hokkaido in the north has long, snowy winters, while Okinawa in the south enjoys a subtropical climate. Most of Japan lies in the temperate zone, with 4 distinct seasons marked by cherry blossoms in spring and vivid foliage in autumn. This climate diversity influences agriculture, culture, and tourism year-round. Japan's mountains give rise to short, fast-flowing rivers, such as the Shinano, 367 kilometers, the longest, and Tone River. Though not suited for navigation, they are vital for hydroelectric power and irrigation. The plains, especially Kanto Plain around Tokyo, are heavily urbanized and serve as the core of economic activity. These fertile lowlands are rare but crucial for feeding Japan's large population. Japan's location places it at the crossroads of major shipping lanes in the Pacific. It faces the East China Sea, the Sea of Japan, and the vast Pacific Ocean, linking it to trade routes with China, Korea, and the US. This geography explains Japan's dependence on maritime security and its strong navy. At the same time, the island setting nurtures a distinct culture shaped by both isolation and exchange. Japan is famous for its clearly defined 4 seasons. Spring brings cherry blossoms, attracting more than 60 million tourists annually during peak bloom. Summers are hot and humid, often exceeding 35 degrees Celsius in cities like Tokyo. Autumn paints the landscape with red maple leaves, while winter blankets regions like Hokkaido with several meters of snow. These seasonal cycles shape festivals, cuisine, and travel across the country. Spring, from March to May, is marked by sakura, cherry blossoms. The bloom starts in Okinawa as early as February and reaches Tokyo and Kyoto in late March or early April. The Japan Meteorological Agency even issues sakura forecasts each year. This season symbolizes renewal and is deeply woven into Japanese culture, from poetry to family gatherings. Japanese summers, June to August, are humid and can feel extreme. Tokyo often records highs above 35 degrees Celsius, and the heat index makes outdoor activities difficult. Summer is also typhoon season, with around 20 storms forming in the Pacific annually, 3-4 making landfall. These storms bring heavy rains and flooding, but are also tied to cultural events like summer festivals and fireworks. Autumn, from September to November, is beloved for its Koyo autumn foliage. Mountains and temples across Honshu and Kyoto attract millions of visitors. Maple trees and ginkgo turn vibrant red and gold, creating one of the most photogenic seasons. Temperatures cool to a comfortable 15-20 degrees Celsius, making it an ideal time for travel and outdoor exploration. Winter varies sharply across Japan. Hokkaido and the Japan Alps receive some of the world's heaviest snowfall, often exceeding 10 meters annually. This makes Japan a global ski destination, with resorts like Niseko hosting thousands of international tourists. Meanwhile, southern regions like Okinawa remain mild, averaging 15-18 degrees Celsius in January. Japan's long north-south span creates distinct climate zones. Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu enjoy a temperate climate. Hokkaido in the north is subarctic, with long, cold winters, while Okinawa in the south is subtropical, with hot summers and mild winters. This variation allows Japan to grow both cold climate crops like apples and warm weather produce like sugarcane. Japan's climate is also shaped by natural hazards. In addition to typhoons, the country is prone to floods, earthquakes, and tsunamis. The 2011 Tonsa-Hoku earthquake and tsunami caused nearly 20,000 deaths and massive damage to infrastructure. To mitigate risks, Japan invests heavily in disaster preparedness, including advanced early warning systems and community drills. As of 2025, Japan's population is estimated at about 125 million people, making it the 11th most populous country in the world. However, the number is steadily declining from its 2010 peak of 128 million. Urban areas dominate. Nearly 92% of the population lives in cities, with Tokyo, Yokohama being the world's largest metropolitan area at over 37 million people. This urban concentration shapes Japan's economy, culture, and infrastructure. Japan has the highest life expectancy in the world, averaging 84 years, 87 for women, 81 for men. The longevity is attributed to a healthy diet rich in fish and vegetables, advanced healthcare, and strong public health systems. Centenarians number more than 92,000 people in 2023, with women accounting for 88%. This remarkable lifespan reflects both cultural habits and modern medical advances. Japan is one of the world's most aged societies, with more than 29% of the population over 65. This demographic shift strains pensions, healthcare, and the labor market. By 2050, Projections suggest nearly 40% of Japanese citizens will be seniors. The government responds with policies promoting robotics, immigration for skilled workers, and longer employment for older citizens. Japan's fertility rate is about 1.3 children per woman, far below the replacement level of 2.1. In 2022, the number of births fell below 800,000 for the first time since records began. This demographic decline has led to shrinking school enrollments, ghost towns in rural areas, and a reduced workforce. The government provides subsidies, childcare support, and parental leave policies, but challenges remain. Marriage and family patterns are changing. The average age of first marriage is now 31 for men and 29 for women, higher than previous generations. Dual-income households are increasing, but women still face challenges balancing work and family life. These social shifts interact with the low birth rate, reshaping Japanese society. Japan is renowned for its disciplined and hardworking culture. The concept of karoshi, death by overwork, illustrates the extreme pressure in corporate life. Average annual working hours are around 1,600, 1,700, lower than in past decades, but still intense. Recently, reforms encourage work-life balance and flexible jobs, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. Japanese society places high value on harmony, respect, and collective responsibility. Cultural concepts like wa harmony and giri, social obligation, guide interpersonal behavior. Community activities, seasonal festivals, and neighborhood associations reinforce solidarity. Even in modern cities, these traditions sustain a social fabric built on cooperation and discipline. Shinto is the indigenous religion of Japan, rooted in polytheism and nature worship. Around 70% of Japanese people participate in Shinto rituals, even if they do not identify as strictly religious. Shrines dedicated to kami, spirits of nature, ancestors, and deities, can be found across the country, with more than 80,000 shrines registered nationwide. Shinto emphasizes purity, harmony with nature, and seasonal rituals that remain central to Japanese cultural identity. Buddhism arrived in Japan from China and Korea in the 6th century, profoundly shaping philosophy, art, and architecture. Today, around 67% of Japanese take part in Buddhist practices, especially funerals and memorials. Major schools include Zen, Pure Land, and Nichiren Buddhism, each influencing daily life in different ways. Famous temples like Kinkakuji in Kyoto and Todaiji in Nara are not only religious centers, but also cultural treasures attracting millions of visitors yearly. For centuries, Shinto and Buddhism coexisted in Japan, blending rituals and beliefs. It was common for people to pray at both a Shinto shrine for life events and a Buddhist temple for memorial services. This fusion, called Shinbutsu Shugo, dominated until the 19th century when the Meiji government tried to separate the two. Even today, most Japanese practice both traditions seamlessly, reflecting a uniquely inclusive spiritual culture. Christianity was introduced to Japan by Portuguese missionaries in the 16th century, led by figures like Francis Xavier. Today, Christians make up less than 2% of the population, with about 1.9 million adherents. Despite its small size, Christianity has influenced education, charity, and Western cultural practices, such as Christmas celebrations. Other minority faiths include Islam, Hinduism, and new religious movements like Soka Gakkai. Religious festivals, or matsuri, play a vital role in Japanese life. Events like the Gion Matsuri in Kyoto or the Nebuta Matsuri in Aomori attract millions of participants each year. These festivals often combine Shinto rituals with community celebrations, featuring parades, floats, and fireworks. They serve not only as spiritual observances, but also as cultural and social bonding experiences. Japan's spiritual landscape is dotted with temples and shrines that blend natural beauty with architectural grandeur. The Ise Grand Shrine, dedicated to the sun goddess Amaterasu, is Shinto's holiest site. Meanwhile, Buddhist temples like Sensoji in Tokyo receive over 30 million visitors annually. These sites serve religious purposes, but also anchor tourism and cultural identity, linking the past with the present. Japanese religion is less about dogma and more about practice. Many people visit shrines during New Year. Hatsumode, weddings often follow Shinto customs, while funerals are usually Buddhist. Even non-religious Japanese still buy omamori, amutsu, or draw omikuji fortunes at shrines. This practical spirituality shows how religion in Japan is deeply woven into everyday routines, traditions, and seasonal cycles. The legacy of the samurai remains central to Japanese identity. From the 12th to 19th centuries, samurai were the warrior class, guided by the Bushido code emphasizing loyalty, honor, and self-discipline. Though abolished in the Meiji era, Bushido values still influence Japanese ethics, from corporate culture to martial arts. Samurai history is preserved in castles, museums, and popular films that celebrate their enduring spirit. The tea ceremony, refined by Sen no Rikyu in the 16th century, symbolizes harmony and simplicity. Ikebana, the art of flower arrangement, emphasizes balance, space, and seasonality. Both practices reflect Japan's deep appreciation for aesthetics and mindfulness. Today, thousands of schools and practitioners continue these traditions, blending ritual with art. The kimono is Japan's iconic garment, worn for weddings, festivals, and ceremonies. Although Western clothing dominates daily life, kimono culture thrives in formal settings. Kyoto remains the hub of kimono production, with artisans crafting hand-dyed silk pieces that can cost thousands of dollars. Tourists also rent kimonos to experience Japan's heritage firsthand. Kabuki, a vibrant theater form dating to the 17th century, combines drama, dance, and elaborate costumes. No, older, and more solemn. Features masked actors performing poetic stories tied to Shinto and Buddhist themes. UNESCO recognizes both as intangible cultural heritage. These traditional arts continue to attract global audiences, with theaters like Tokyo's Kabuki-za staging performances year-round. Bonsai, the art of cultivating miniature trees, reflects patience and harmony with nature. It has been practiced in Japan for over 1,000 years and is now appreciated worldwide. Calligraphy, using brush and ink, emphasizes beauty in written characters. Both art forms are taught in schools and symbolize discipline, precision, and aesthetic refinement. Japan is a global leader in pop culture. Anime and manga form a multi-billion-dollar industry, with exports reaching fans in over 100 countries. J-pop music dominates Asia's charts, while Japan's gaming industry, led by Nintendo and Sony, is worth over $20 billion annually. These modern cultural exports shape Japan's soft power worldwide. Festivals remain central to cultural life. Hanami, or cherry blossom viewing, draws millions to parks every spring. The Gion Matsuri in Kyoto, dating back to the 9th century, features parades and ornate floats. Tanabata, inspired by Chinese legend, celebrates star-crossed lovers with colorful decorations in July. These events link tradition, religion, and community, showcasing Japan's vibrant social fabric. Sushi and sashimi are Japan's most iconic foods, enjoyed worldwide. Sushi combines vinegared rice with seafood, vegetables, or egg, while sashimi highlights the freshness of raw fish like tuna and salmon. Tokyo's Toyosu Market is the largest fish market in the world, where high-grade tuna auctions can reach over $1 a million per fish. These dishes reflect Japan's respect for simplicity, freshness, and presentation. Ramen, a noodle soup with Chinese origins, has become a Japanese staple. Each region has its own variation: miso ramen in Sapporo, tonkotsu ramen in Fukuoka, and shoyu ramen in Tokyo. Tempura, deep-fried seafood or vegetables, was introduced by Portuguese traders in the 16th century, but perfected in Japan. Today, ramen shops and tempura restaurants can be found across the globe, spreading Japanese culinary influence. Japan is home to the world-famous Wagyu beef, renowned for its marbling and tenderness. Varieties like Kobe, Matsusaka, and Omi beef are prized for their quality, sometimes costing over $200 per kilogram. Strict breeding and feeding techniques produce Wagyu's unique flavor profile. It has become a luxury product, both domestically and internationally, symbolizing Japan's premium food culture. In 2013, washoku, or traditional Japanese cuisine, was recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. Washoku emphasizes balance, seasonality, and aesthetics, using ingredients like rice, miso, fish, and seasonal vegetables. It reflects not just nutrition, but cultural identity, often arranged in the Ichiju Sansai style, one soup, three dishes. Washoku continues to embody harmony between food, nature, and community. Matcha, finely ground green tea powder, is central to the Japanese tea ceremony. Originating from China, it was refined in Japan during the 12th century and became a symbol of mindfulness. Today, matcha is used not only in tea, but also in desserts, lattes, and global cuisine. Japan produces about 80,000 tons of green tea annually, with Uji in Kyoto famous for the highest quality. Sake, Japan's traditional rice wine, has been brewed for over 1,000 years. It is made by fermenting polished rice with water and koji mold, producing alcohol levels of 12–16%. There are more than 1,200 sake breweries across Japan, with Niigata and Hyogo prefectures being top producers. Sake is enjoyed at festivals, weddings, and religious rituals, symbolizing purity and celebration. Japanese cuisine is deeply tied to the seasons. Spring brings cherry blossom-themed sweets, summer highlights cold noodles and shaved ice, autumn celebrates matsutake mushrooms, and winter offers hot pot dishes like nabe. This seasonal approach reflects the concept of shun eating ingredients at their peak freshness. It ensures variety, balance, and cultural continuity, making food not just nourishment, but also a celebration of nature's cycles. Mount Fuji, at 3,776 meters, is Japan's tallest mountain and an enduring national icon. It is an active stratovolcano, last erupting in 1707 and part of the UNESCO World Heritage List since 2013. Each year, over 300,000 climbers attempt its summit, while millions admire its symmetrical beauty from afar. Fuji embodies both natural majesty and spiritual inspiration, often depicted in Japanese art and literature. Himeji Castle, located in Hyogo Prefecture, is Japan's most celebrated castle. Completed in 1609, it is nicknamed the White Heron Castle for its brilliant white exterior. It survived wars and natural disasters, earning recognition as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1993. With over 2 million visitors annually, it represents the pinnacle of Japanese feudal architecture. Todaiji Temple in Nara was founded in 752 as the head temple of Japanese Buddhism. It houses the Daibutsu, a 15-meter bronze Buddha statue weighing over 500 tons. The Great Buddha Hall, Daibutsu-den, was once the world's largest wooden building. Todaiji remains both a spiritual site and a cultural treasure, drawing pilgrims and tourists alike. Located on Miyajima Island, Itsukushima Shrine is famed for its floating red torii gate. The current structure dates to the 16th century, though the shrine's origins go back to the 12th. At high tide, the gate appears to float on the sea, making it one of Japan's most photographed icons. It is part of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites and attracts millions annually. Completed in 2012, the Tokyo Skytree is Japan's tallest structure at 634 meters. It functions as a television broadcasting tower and observation platform. In its first 3 years, it welcomed over 30 million visitors, becoming Tokyo's modern symbol. From its decks, visitors can see the vast metropolis and even Mount Fuji on clear days. Originally built in 1583 by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Osaka Castle symbolizes Japan's unification era. The current reconstruction, completed in 1931 and renovated in 1997, preserves its grandeur. The Castle Park is a major cultural site, especially famous for cherry blossoms in spring. With museums and exhibitions, Osaka Castle links feudal history with modern public life. Japan experienced a tourism boom in the 2010 seconds. In 2019, the country welcomed a record 31.9 million international visitors, up from just 8 million in 2012. The government aimed for 40 million visitors by 2020 before the pandemic struck. Tourism contributed about 7% of Japan's GDP, showing its growing role in the economy. The COVID-19 pandemic caused visitor numbers to plummet to under 5 million in 2020. Borders reopened in late 2022, and tourism began to rebound. By mid-2023, Japan welcomed over 15 million international visitors, with strong demand from Southeast Asia, the US, and Europe. This recovery highlights Japan's enduring appeal as a global travel destination. Tokyo Disney Resort, opened in 1983, was the first Disney park outside the US. It includes Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, unique attractions that draw families worldwide. In 2019, the resort attracted 17.9 million visitors, ranking among the most visited theme parks globally. It remains a top destination for domestic and international tourists alike. Hokkaido is Japan's northernmost island, famed for its snow and winter sports. Resorts like Niseko attract skiers from Australia, Europe, and Asia, with snowfall exceeding 15 meters annually. The Sapporo Snow Festival, featuring giant ice and snow sculptures, draws more than 2 million visitors each February. Hokkaido is now one of Asia's premier winter tourism hubs. Japan aims to diversify its tourism beyond Tokyo and Kyoto. Government initiatives encourage travel to rural areas and secondary cities to ease over-tourism. Plans include expanding multilingual services, digital passes, and eco-friendly infrastructure. With the Osaka Expo 2025 and the growing appeal of anime-related tourism, Japan expects to surpass 40 million annual visitors in the near future. Tokyo boasts the most complex metro system in the world. It includes 13 lines operated by Tokyo Metro and Toei, covering over 300 kilometers of track and serving nearly 8 million passengers daily. Combined with suburban JR lines, the Greater Tokyo Rail Network handles 40 million passengers per day, the busiest on Earth. Despite its scale, trains are famous for punctuality, with average delays measured in seconds. Japan's Shinkansen high-speed rail network is a hallmark of its infrastructure. Running since 1964, it now spans over 3,000 kilometers, connecting major cities from Tokyo to Kyushu. Trains reach speeds of 320 kilometers per hour while maintaining an average delay of less than 1 minute. It is a symbol of efficiency and a global model for high-speed rail systems. Japan operates several world-class international airports. Narita Airport handles most long-haul flights, serving over 33 million passengers in 2019. Haneda Airport, closer to central Tokyo, saw 87 million passengers the same year, ranking among the busiest worldwide. Other hubs like Kansai Osaka and Chubu Nagoya connect Japan to Asia and beyond, forming a robust aviation network. Opened in 1994, Kansai International Airport is built on an artificial island in Osaka Bay. Designed by architect Renzo Piano, it was hailed as one of the greatest engineering projects of the 20th century. The airport handles about 28 million passengers annually and serves as a key hub for Western Japan. Its unique design also demonstrates Japan's mastery of large-scale infrastructure in challenging environments. Japan relies heavily on maritime trade, supported by advanced seaport infrastructure. Major ports include Yokohama, Kobe, Osaka, and Nagoya, handling millions of containers yearly. Yokohama Port alone processes over 3 million TEU annually, ranking among Asia's busiest. These ports are essential for Japan's export-driven economy, linking industries to global supply chains. Japan invests heavily in integrating technology with infrastructure. Smart traffic systems reduce congestion in urban areas, while automated tolling, ETC, is standard on highways. Earthquake-resistant designs are applied to bridges, tunnels, and skyscrapers. These innovations ensure safety and efficiency in a country prone to natural disasters. Japan continues to expand its infrastructure for the future. The Chuo Shinkansen maglev, currently under construction, will link Tokyo and Nagoya in 40 minutes at speeds of 500 kilometers per hour, expected in the 2030 seconds. Airports are upgrading with biometric boarding, and ports are adopting AI-driven logistics. Such projects reflect Japan's commitment to maintaining world-class infrastructure in the 21st century. The Japanese macaque, or snow monkey, is famous for bathing in hot springs in Jigokudani Monkey Park, Nagano. They are the world's northernmost non-human primates, surviving harsh winters with heavy snowfall. The park hosts about 160 monkeys, attracting thousands of tourists annually. Their unique behavior symbolizes the adaptability of Japan's wildlife. In Nara Park, over 1,200 sika deer roam freely among temples and tourists. They are considered messengers of the Shinto gods and are a designated natural treasure. Visitors can buy special deer crackers, shika senbei, to feed them. This coexistence of wildlife and culture makes Nara one of Japan's most charming destinations. The Usuri brown bear is Hokkaido's largest predator, reaching up to 2.1 meters tall and weighing over 400 kilograms. They inhabit Shiratoko Peninsula, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Though rare to encounter, bear warnings are common in rural areas. They reflect the wild, untamed side of Japan's northern landscapes. The Japanese red fox is widespread, often linked to folklore as a mystical creature with shape-shifting powers. In reality, foxes are common in rural fields and mountains. Zhao Fox Village in Miyagi Prefecture is home to 100+ foxes, where visitors can observe them up close. Foxes blend myth and nature, embodying Japan's cultural imagination. The red-crowned crane, Tancho, is a national symbol of longevity and fidelity. Once near extinction, its population has recovered to about 1,800 birds, mostly in Hokkaido. Cranes perform elaborate mating dances, attracting birdwatchers worldwide. They are celebrated in art, origami, and festivals, representing peace and hope. At the base of Mount Fuji lies Aokigahara, also called the Sea of Trees. It spans about 35 square kilometers and is known for its dense vegetation and lava caves. Despite its dark reputation, it is a site of natural beauty and ecological diversity. Guided tours highlight geology, flora, and the forest's cultural history. Hokkaido is home to vast coniferous forests, covered in snow for much of the year. These forests support unique wildlife such as the Hokkaido squirrel and Blakiston's fish owl. Daisetsuzan National Park, Japan's largest, covers 2,267 square kilometers of alpine terrain. It is a haven for hikers, skiers, and nature lovers seeking untouched wilderness. Japan's seas are rich with marine species, including Pacific bluefin tuna. Tokyo's Toyosu Market is famous for tuna auctions, where a single fish once sold for $3.1 million in 2019. Tuna is essential to sushi culture and Japan's fishing economy. However, overfishing has raised concerns about sustainability. Japan's waters host sperm whales, orcas, and dolphins. Whale watching is popular in Okinawa and Hokkaido, drawing thousands of tourists annually. At the same time, Japan's whaling practices remain controversial internationally. This duality shows the tension between cultural traditions and conservation. Okinawa is home to some of the world's northernmost coral reefs. The Kurama Islands host more than 250 coral species and attract divers from around the world. Marine biodiversity includes sea turtles, manta rays, and reef fish. Conservation efforts are underway as rising sea temperatures threaten coral bleaching. Tsukushima Shrine on Miyajima Island dates back to the 12th century, established under the patronage of Taira no Kiyomori. The complex is built on wooden stilts above the bay, designed in the Shindanzukuri style of the Heian court. Its long corridors, ceremonial halls, and bugaku dance stages stretch gracefully over the water. Constructed mainly from cypress wood and painted vermilion, the shrine blends religious elegance with the natural calm of Hiroshima Bay. Its design creates the illusion that the shrine itself floats at high tide, symbolizing harmony between humans and the sea. The Great Otori Gate, standing 17 meters tall and nearly 24 meters wide, is Miyajima's most iconic landmark. It is built from massive camphor wood pillars, relying on weight rather than deep foundations to resist waves. At high tide, boats can pass beneath the gate, while at low tide, visitors walk across the exposed seabed to touch its base. Major renovations between 2019 and 2022 restored its brilliant vermilion surface. Easily accessible by a 10-minute ferry from Miyajimaguchi, the Otorii continues to symbolize Japan's timeless connection with nature and spirituality. Itsukushima Shrine was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1996. Celebrated for its harmony of architecture and tide, the island is also home to free-roaming deer, regarded as messengers of the Shinto gods. The Kangansai Festival, held in summer, revives ancient court music performed on boats circling the bay, drawing thousands of visitors. Wooden boardwalks protect tidal flats and seagrass beds beneath the shrine. To manage over-tourism, the island has introduced waste reduction programs and electric buses. Balancing preservation with accessibility, Nikko National Park covers about 1,150 square kilometers, spanning volcanic peaks, alpine marshes, and sacred sites. Highlights include Mount Nantai, Lake Chuzenji, and the Senjogahara Plateau, which offer varied ecosystems from conifer forests to wetlands. The park's waterfalls are legendary, especially Kegon Falls, dropping 97 meters from Lake Chuzenji. The scenic Irohazuka Road, with 48 curves, climbs to mountain viewpoints, making it a popular autumn route. Nikko combines striking nature with centuries of religious tradition. Within the park lies the lavish Toshogu Shrine, dedicated to Tokugawa Ieyasu, founder of the Tokugawa shogunate. Its intricate carvings and gold leaf interiors contrast with the surrounding cedar forest, some trees over 400 years old. Nikko's shrines and temples were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999. The famous carving of the three wise monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, originates here. This fusion of ornate craftsmanship and natural setting makes Nikko a spiritual and cultural jewel. Located in Kanazawa, Kenroku-in is considered one of Japan's 3 great gardens. Its design reflects 6 classical qualities: spaciousness, seclusion, artifice, antiquity, water features, and scenic views. First developed in the 17th century by the Maeda clan, the garden spans 11.4 hectares. Each season transforms its scenery. Plum blossoms in spring, irises in summer, fiery maples in autumn, and snow-covered pines in winter. Kenroku-in embodies the Japanese aesthetic of Shizen natural beauty, carefully shaped by human hands. On Kyoto's western edge lies the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, a surreal forest of soaring bamboo stalks. The grove stretches along winding paths, where sunlight filters through dense greenery to create shifting patterns. Walking here produces a distinctive rustling sound, designated by Japan's Ministry of Environment as one of the nation's 100 soundscapes. Nearby landmarks include the Togetsukiyo Bridge and Tenryuji Temple, enhancing the area's cultural depth. The Bamboo Grove has become one of Japan's most photographed landscapes, symbolizing serenity and balance. Each demonstrates the Japanese principle of blending built heritage with natural beauty. From a floating shrine in the sea to sacred mountains, to gardens shaped by human artistry and bamboo forests that whisper in the wind, these landscapes embody the soul of Japan. They remind us that culture and environment are not separate, but woven together in a harmonious tapestry admired worldwide. We've traveled across Japan's landscapes, culture, history, and modern life. From ancient temples and Shinto rituals to bullet trains and cutting-edge science, Japan's identity is built on contrasts in harmony. This journey is not just about facts, but about understanding how a nation balances tradition with progress. As we close, take a moment to reflect on what inspired you most. Was it the resilience of the people, the elegance of the culture, or the beauty of the land? Beyond data and history, Japan is felt in everyday moments. A quiet tea ceremony, the sound of bamboo in Arashiyama, or the flash of neon in Tokyo. These impressions linger long after a visit, or even after watching a video. Japan shows us that identity is not fixed, but constantly evolving, shaped by people and their environment. It's a reminder that culture and innovation can thrive together, enriching the global community. In an era of rapid change, Japan's example resonates worldwide. It faces real challenges: an aging population, natural disasters, global competition, yet continues to reinvent itself. By honoring heritage while pushing the limits of science, design, and art, Japan sets a model for sustainable progress. Its story is not just Japan's alone. It is a story with lessons for all of us, wherever we are. If this journey sparked your curiosity, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel for more deep explorations of culture, nations, landscapes, and global stories. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and share it with friends who love discovering the world. Leave a comment below. Which part of Japan fascinated you the most? Your voice helps us bring even more stories to life.